If you've been researching what happens after someone passes away, you've probably come across the terms estate planning and probate. A lot of people assume they're the same thing, and that's completely understandable. They're often mentioned together, but they actually serve very different purposes. Understanding the difference isn't just about learning legal terminology. It can help you make more informed decisions for yourself, your family, and your future. Let's start with estate planning. Generally speaking, estate planning is something you do while you're alive. It's the process of thinking ahead, putting a plan in place for how you'd like important matters handled in the future. That can include deciding who you want to make the decisions if you're unable to make them for yourself, who you would trust to carry out your wishes after you're gone, and how you'd like your assets handled. One of the biggest misconceptions we hear is that estate planning is only about deciding who gets your belongings after you pass. While that's certainly part of it, estate planning is much broader than that. At its core, estate planning is really about creating clarity. It's about making important decisions while you have the opportunity to make them, instead of leaving your family to figure things out during an emotional and very stressful time. Think about it this way. Most people insure their homes even though they hope they'll never have to use that insurance. They buy life insurance hoping their families won't need it for many years. Estate planning is very similar. You're not planning because you expect something to happen tomorrow. You're planning because life is unpredictable, and you'd rather make those decisions yourself than have someone else make them for you. Now let's talk about probate. Probate is completely different because it happens after someone passes away. Generally speaking, probate is the legal process used to settle a person's estate. Depending on the circumstances, that process may include validating a will, identifying the person's assets, addressing outstanding obligations, and ultimately transferring property according to the applicable legal process. One thing that's important to understand is that probate isn't a punishment or a sign that someone did something wrong. Sometimes people hear the word probate and immediately assume it's something to avoid at all costs. In reality, probate exists because there needs to be a structured legal process for transferring ownership, resolving outstanding matters, and ensuring the appropriate steps are followed. It's a framework, it provides accountability, and it helps create an organized process during what can already be difficult times for families. So, if estate planning happens before someone passes away and probate happens afterwards, why do people confuse the two? The answer is actually pretty simple. They're connected. The decisions you make during the estate planning process can affect what happens later. And probate is one of the processes that may become part of settling someone's affairs. Because those conversations often happen together, many people assume that they're the same thing. But here's a better way to think about it. Estate planning is the preparation, probate is part of the administration. One happens while you're making decisions, the other happens after those decisions may need to be carried out. Another question we hear all the time is, if I have a will, does that mean I have taken care of my estate planning? A will is certainly an important part of many estate plans, but it's only one piece of a giant puzzle. Estate planning isn't just about creating a document, it's about creating a strategy. That strategy should reflect your family, your goals, your assets, and your wishes. And those things can change over time. Your plan should be reviewed to make sure it still fits your current circumstances. That's something many people don't realize. We've met with individuals who created an estate plan 15 or 20 years ago and assume they never needed to look at it again. But think about everything that can change over 20 years. Children grow up, grandchildren are born, people get married and divorced. Someone you originally trusted to carry out your wishes may no longer be the best choice. You may purchase an additional property, start a business, retire, experience significant changes in your financial situation. None of that means your original plan was wrong. It simply means that your life continued to evolve. Your estate plan should evolve with it. If you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to drop videos about once a week on topics that are similar to this. And we like doing these videos for you guys, regardless of whether you work for us, because we know if you're searching for this type of content, you're going through a particularly difficult time in your life. You probably lost a loved one. I mean, you're trying to look for basic information about the estate planning process, the probate process, like what has to happen. And so that's why we're doing this. And if there's anything that we can do to help you professionally, please reach out to our firm using our website info link. And if there's anything that you think you would like to see in a video, please leave it in the comments below. Another misconception we hear is, if I don't have an estate plan, my family already knows what I want. That may be true, but knowing what someone wanted and having a legal plan in place are two different things. Imagine two different families. In the first family, mom took the time to create an estate plan. She periodically reviewed it over years. Her children know who to contact. They know where the important documents are stored. They understand who was chosen to handle certain responsibilities, and they have a roadmap for what happens next. Now picture another family. Dad talked about what he wanted from time to time, but nothing was ever formally organized. No one knows where certain financial records are located. Family members aren't sure who should take the lead. Different people remember different conversations, and everyone is trying to do the right thing while also greeting. Neither family loves each other any more or less. The difference is clarity. One family has direction, the other has questions. That's one of the greatest benefits of estate planning. It's not simply about transferring assets, it's about reducing uncertainty. It's about making things easier for the people you care about. And in our experience, that's often what clients value the most. Another question people ask is whether estate planning is only for the wealthy individuals. The answer is no. Estate planning isn't determined by the size of your estate. It's determined by the fact that you have people, responsibilities, and decisions that matter to you. Whether you own a modest home or multiple properties, whether you have one child or several, whether you're at the beginning of your career or preparing for retirement, planning ahead gives you the opportunity to make thoughtful decisions while you're able to make them. It's also worth remembering that estate planning isn't only for older adults. Unexpected events don't happen according to a schedule. That's why many people choose to begin planning much earlier than originally expected. Finally, let's talk about why understanding the difference between estate planning and probate actually matters. When people confuse the two, they often delay planning because they assume they'll deal with everything later. The challenge is that estate planning is something that can only be done while you're able to make those decisions. Probate, on the other hand, begins after someone has already passed away. By that point, your family is working through the process without the opportunity to ask you what you wanted. That's why planning ahead can be such a meaningful gift to the people you care about. It gives them guidance instead of guesswork, it provides direction instead of uncertainty, and allows your wishes to come from you, not from assumptions made during an already difficult time. So if there's one takeaway from today's conversation, it's this. Estate planning and probate are connected, but they are not the same thing. Estate planning is about making thoughtful decisions today so your family has greater clarity tomorrow. Probate is the legal process that may take place after someone passes away to help settle their affairs. The more you understand the difference, the better prepared you'll be to make informed decisions for yourself and for the people who matter most. And remember, estate planning isn't really about preparing for the end of life. It's about protecting the life you built and making things a little easier for the people you'll one day leave it to.